Okay, welcome back to members of a 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and to our ongoing study in Wolfhart, Pannenberg, and Volume 1 of his Systematic Theology. We are in the chapter on God-As-Triune, and we're in Part 2. To recap Part 1, we will simply say it taught us that God, under the category of essence, is one, but God, under the category of existence, is three. On this lesson, we're going to take a look at pages 271 to 280. Let's go to Block 1, harmonizing the concept of God as triune. Unity of essence. Athanasius, 296 to 373 A.D., was the 20th Patriarch of Alexandria. He emphasized the unity of ousia essence for the Godhead, and differentiation of personhood was grounded in the message of the coming kingdom proclaimed by Christ. Because it's the Son who distinguished both the Father and the Spirit from himself. He is the reference point for our revelation, so it's Christ, the Son, who distinguished both the Father and the Spirit from himself. The distinction of personhood is in the whole proclamation of Christ and the primitive Christian message. But it's all known through the revelation of the Son, says Pannenberg, through the revelation of the Son. And we also find the triune Godhead in the specific acts of distinct divine working in the world, their activity in the realm of existence. And we must now turn to harmonizing these issues within what Pannenberg said became a developing philosophical theology. And it came from, basically, it was Jewish, but it was Hellenized Jewish philosophy. It was an influence of Platonic philosophy upon Jewish thought, and those two came together in a harmonizing philosophical theology. Unity of essence plus distinction of personhood were united in a philosophical theology. Believers attain fellowship with God through the Son and the Spirit. The Son and the Spirit are co-substantial with the Father. Harmony through salvation history takes place and tells us of the participation of the Son and the Spirit in the Father's lordship. And just to remind you, that's called mutual indwelling, and that's, in Greek, it's called perichoresis. Let's go to Block 2, and we can look at this process of harmonizing essence and distinction of the triune Godhead. Okay. The influence of the Hellenized Jewish philosopher. There was, in the development of the doctrine of the Trinity, there was the influence of a Platonic philosophy. Origen of Alexander is a good example. 185 to 255 AD, he was strongly influenced by Platonic philosophy. He emphasized the Son as an eternal emanation from the divine. He posited the concept of the eternal Trinity of God. He was the first to actually use that concept, that term. He posited the eternal Trinity of God. He defended homoousian theology. In other words, equal deity of every member of the triune Godhead. They all shared the one ousia essence. The Son was the pre-existent hypostasis personhood right alongside the Father. Remember, hypostasis is hupa, under, stasis, existence, under the category of existence. The Son is the pre-existent personhood under the category of existence right alongside the Father. Now, that was the influence of Platonic philosophy, but Block 2, Note 2, there was also, in developing the doctrine, Jewish wisdom literature contributed. And it came from the Jewish scriptures that spoke of the pre-existent wisdom, Proverbs 8:22 and following. It's entitled, all language in the Psalms and the Proverbs are very poetic in praise of wisdom. The Lord possessed me wisdom in the beginning of his way, before the work of old. I was set up from everlasting. From the beginning, before there was even the earth, when there was no depth, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains, before the mountains were set, I was brought forth. When yet the earth was not made, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the world, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. Even when he sent a compass upon the face of the depth. We have the pre-existent, co-eternal wisdom, and that language and truth of Proverbs became a part of developing the doctrine of the Trinity. Block 2, Note 3, the Hellenized Jewish philosopher as contributor. And our example is Philo of Alexandria, (2 BC to 50 AD). He stated that the eternal Logos was the agent of all revelation. The Logos was the agent of God's revealed transcendence. And the Logos fully appeared in Jesus of Nazareth, in full deity. Philo of Alexandria, there you go. 2 BC to 50 AD declared the full deity of Christ, and that the eternal Logos fully appeared in Christ. The full revealed eternal Logos was revealed in the person of Christ, who we must declare co-eternal and co-substantial with the Father, and therefore full deity. Full deity. So let's go to Block 3. Triune personhood as co-equal, co-eternal, and indivisible. This is how the doctrine developed. We go to Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria. Your big cities for the emerging first levels of Christian doctrine were Alexandria and Antioch. So we go to Athanasius, 296 to 373 AD. Personhood already implies a relationship of mutual indwelling between the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. There was a contribution from the Cappadocian Fathers in the East. Today, that is Turkey. They solidified the Nicene doctrine of 325 AD. They did participate in the Council of Constantinople in 381 AD, and that did influence greatly the Eastern monastic position, along with the position taken up in Rome. They posited the idea that divine interrelation defines the distinction of the personhoods. They posited the unity of divine substance, one ousia essence. So Constantinople in 381 held up the doctrine of Nicaea in 325. So from 325 to 381, you have a confirmed triune doctrine evolving, fully confirmed by Nicaea and the Council of Constantinople in 381 AD. We get an excellent follow-up lesson here, lesson 2 on God-As-Triune. And basically, what Pannenberg wants to tell us is that Block 1 and Block 2 show us that eventually the doctrine of the triune Godhead evolved out of a philosophical theology. The theology that was held by the Judaic faith was influenced by the Greeks and by philosophy, and especially after the Jews were dispersed throughout the Roman Empire, and you had a lot of ideas being exchanged through the trade routes. And we know from the book of Acts, chapter 17, that Paul himself lectured at the Stoic Academy in Athens. So he's one of our main contributors to the text of the New Testament, and he was influenced by Greek Stoic philosophy and lectured at the Stoic Academy. Remember, his lecture was on the unknown God, the altar to the unknown God, and he said, well, the unknown God is now a revealed God, and he is revealed in Jesus as the eternal Christ. That was Paul's lecture at the Stoic Academy in Athens. It's in if you go to Acts 17, I believe, is where that is found. You have that lecture by the Apostle Paul at the Stoic Philosophical Academy. So there's very much in the development of Christian doctrine, there is an influence of philosophy. And that's why Pannenberg says that eventually, Block 2, Note 3, it's the Hellenized, in other words, Greek influence, a Hellenized Jewish philosopher who ended up writing the doctrine, Philo of Alexandria, Egypt. And it's a Logos doctrine. The eternal Logos was considered the agent of God's revelation, the agent of God's revealed transcendence, and the eternal Logos fully appeared in Jesus of Nazareth, the Christ. And it was revealed that Jesus as the Christ was, is, and always will remain full deity. He appeared as incarnate deity. He was, he is, and he always will remain full deity. But basically, Athanasius again, the Bishop of Alexandria, came up with the definition of the triune Godhead as co-equal, co-eternal, and indivisible. Father, the Son, and the Spirit are co-equal, co-eternal, and indivisible. And I would add to that co-substantial. But what that says is they are of one ousia essence. Even though they are three distinct hypostasis personhoods, they share one ousia divine essence. That's the Nicene definition. That is the Constantinople definition. God is one ousia essence and three hypostasis personhoods. Under the category of existence, God is three. Under the category of essence, God is one. So we got a very good part 2 to God-As-Triune, and we will pick up next time on page 281.